Alright, hey folks, so we're here today doing an update on these burlap bag planters that I did. So if you recall, I used kind of a hugelkuktur type of method where the bottom of them was filled with wood chips, and then I put soil on top and then planted things on top of those. So it's fall here and it's kind of the end of the season, so we're taking them apart and seeing what they look like and seeing how they held up and performed. So these two bags are the only ones that we kept planted towards the end of the season, or all the way to the end of the season, and they both had tomatoes planted in them. So we've actually already pulled the tomatoes up, but just to give an example, here's what one of the tomato plants looked like. So I think it might have been pulled out of this one or this one, I'm not sure. It looks like the roots went down fairly deeply. I'm not sure if they went down into the wood chip layer or not, but we're going to dig into the bags and see what the wood chips actually look like, and we're going to kind of take these apart. So I'm going to set this tomato plant to the side, and let's take a closer look here at this one. Okay, so if you notice, we have that looks like maybe a basil plant. We'll kind of toss that aside too. So the top layer of soil I'm going to start emptying out and just putting over here. So by the way, over here what we have is some leaves, and then this is where we've been burying our kitchen scraps for the last couple weeks. This is just a kind of a little side note. So there's kitchen scraps under here, and then they're buried with some dried leaves, and then the plan is to put soil on top, and then in the spring plant things on top of that. But anyway, back to the burlap bag. So I'm going to empty the soil actually on top of here, because this part has pretty much been filled up with kitchen scraps. So one of the things I was curious about was how much the wood chips would break down over the course of one season. If we take a look in here, it looks like they're still pretty intact, but there's also a ton of mycelium. So all the white stuff you can see in here appears to be fungal mycelium. So it's actually fungus growing in the wood chips, which is I think a good sign, because it's a sign that they're going to be breaking down. So I'm going to empty the rest of the soil onto here, because we want this part covered in soil, but I'm actually going to leave the wood chips in here, and then I'm going to lift the bag up and we'll see what happens. As I suspected, they fell right through the bottom of the bag. So one thing I've noticed with these burlap planters is that they tend to break down pretty fast, and especially the bottom of it tends to break down really quickly. I think because it's in contact with both the soil on top and the wood chips on top and the soil underneath, so it stays really wet, and I think it breaks down really quickly. And it seems to kind of turn this black color as it breaks down, and it breaks apart really easily. So the sides of the planter seem to stay intact, but and I noticed, in fact, actually even maybe a month or two after planting these, that the bottoms would already start to fall out. So it makes it so that the planters aren't really very movable after the first few weeks or few months after planting, because the bottoms fall apart so quickly. Let's see what's left here, if there's anything else interesting. This may be the rest of the bag. I don't know. We also lined the bottom of this bed with burlap, so this might be from another bag. Anything else I wanted to say about this? Yeah, I think that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this update, and I hope you found something useful in here, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you later.